What's going on, everybody? It's Joey Valley TCG. Hope you guys are having a good day, a good week. So I am back with another video, and today we are going to be talking about something that I find very exciting, which is the cards that are, I would say, considered very collectible, and how those cards have been trending, and that, I guess, direction-wise has been very I'm just going to say it, very positive. So we're going to be talking about those positive moves within the space. But maybe more than that, I do want to just highlight that, investing, we talk a lot about positive indicators and, seeing how some of these prices have moved in a really wonderfully positive direction. It does, I think it does really highlight that One Piece is moving towards it's becoming a safe haven for collectors, right? It's not just going to be a player's game. There's going to be two sides of this story, and that's something that we really like to see in a space. Anyways, before I do that, a couple of things. Please like, comment, and subscribe the video or the channel. And then the other thing is, I want to announce the winner for my Chipotle gift card giveaway. So if you didn't watch to the end of one of my earlier videos where I talked about bulk and bulk prices, how I was selling those bulk cards for Chipotle money, well, unfortunately, not many of you guys did see that. So might have to highlight that a little bit more. But I wanted to reward folks that were watching all the way through, and only about 20 people entered the giveaway. So congratulations to Sakura76. Send me an email, valuetcg4@gmail.com, and yeah, I will get that gift card to you, and we'll do a quick check as well. But yeah, I'll get that to you. And then, guys, if you missed out this time, don't worry. I have a bunch of other giveaways coming up. I will, the next time I do a bulk review and sale review video, I'm probably going to do something very similar. So make sure you guys are looking out for that video. Anyways, all right, let's get into the good stuff, right? First and foremost, I think what really led into the other half of the video, I think it really highlights itself in what we're seeing between Fist of Divine Speed and Legacy of the Master booster box prices, because my sense was they didn't really print all that much Legacy of the Master booster boxes relative to Fist of Divine Speed. So they printed a lot of this, and I remember it being very readily available for a long time, and prices were not super high, right? When the reprint came through, it definitely dropped. It says 120 here, but you could have found it for like 105, 110 pretty easily. But Legacy of the Master, man, Legacy of the Master, it's been relatively expensive. I thought with the reprint, especially since the cards in here are not as good as Divine Speed, that this booster box would be a lot cheaper, like $100, maybe a little bit less. But we're just not seeing that. And why is that favorable? That means that to some extent, Bandai is recognizing the demand that's out there, and they are not overprinting to where box prices are just in the dumps and they are not collectible at all and drives people away from the hobby. I'm sure they recognize that a lot of people have gone over to Pokemon. They're just throwing paychecks to Pokemon, and as a result, they're not spending as much money in One Piece. So they're restricting, in my opinion, it feels like from just the supply that's out there today, it's not as significant as we saw for OP11. And the other thing I want to highlight here is just that OP11 is they printed a ton of this set, but because of how good the cards are in here, Box prices have had a really healthy bottom here. 120, 121, 110 off in other LGSs online. And now it's just recovered to 135. And there's been, pretty solid sell-through on a daily basis here. And that's what we really like to see. And I think this card is one primary reason for why. This Luffy Gold Gear 5 card has just been absolutely bought out. Like, you look at this, so somebody came in and started buying all the copies that were available. Maybe not one person, maybe a group of people, or maybe just some collectors that really want this card, right? And if you look, there's one copy available at $2,700, $3,000 for this unverified or non-gold star seller. And then the next one after that is a Beckett BGS 10 for $5,000. And then the next one after that is $6,000. It's absolutely crazy, right? There's just no availability for this card. There might be more on eBay. I haven't looked recently, but this to me is a sign that a collector group is forming. I don't think it's as unhealthy as it is what we see in Pokemon, where people are just, blindly buying everything and anything. But even the silver is $2,200 now, right? This was like a $1,600, $1,300 card, and then it just fully elevated to this $2,200. Although it looks like there's one copy available from this person, so you guys have a chance. I can't tell from this picture if the card is very, very good or not, but still, very, very good and healthy prices in the set. Marshall D. Teach. It's not as good as the Luffy card. This is obviously from OP12, but still a decent collector item. $800, some solid sell-through here as well. But this one, people are still opening, right? People are still opening OP12. It's the newest set. OP11, as people stop opening that set, and as that inventory supply dries up, we're going to see, prices, whether for the booster box or for those super collector cards like these, we'll find a very solid bottom, if not recover to a much higher price. This is silver, almost $640. Still, very nice looking card, but I don't understand why the price differential is so limited here. I think the gold should be worth a lot more. And then we should talk about EB02. This thing is bananas. This thing, there's just buyouts across the board here. This supply here was just so limited that I can see the reason why. Whether it's manipulated or not, I don't know, but some of the more sought after leaders, more sought after collector cards from these leaders, these prices have just gone insane, right? First and foremost, the manga art, $1,500. I don't know. It's not super. Actually, it is pretty liquid, right? $1,200, then $1,800, then $1,100, and $1,200, and $1,400. So some demand here. There's still a few copies left. Not that many copies left, but yeah, look, this card, they just didn't make that many of this card. So if you really want this card for whatever reason, if you're a big manga art collector, you cannot live without having every single manga art in your collection. Well, this is, I find it hard to believe that, this price is gonna go down all that much. And then you have these gold leaders, the Boa Hancock, beautiful card. A very unique art here as well. I don't recall seeing this art for many other cards before. Some of the other arts are rehashed, but this, I think this is unique, right? Anyways, $700, 700 buckaroos only 5 copies from 2 sellers available. Hey, look at this, right? I don't know who's buying at this price and then relisting here. It could even be Nostalgia Daily. He's just like buying out some of the cheaper copies and relisting them, but that's just crazy to me. There's no copies available. Same thing for the Monkey D. Luffy leader alternate art from the set. $300, pretty consistent there. And then you have the leader. This is the gold version. I mean, this is the alt, right? This is a unique one just to EB02. I mean, this is the reprinted leader with a gold foil lettering and $700 for Bonnie. She's playable as well, so there's that's going for her. But yeah, just no copies available. People had it at $300, and then when they saw that there were 4 copies left, boom, everything's $700. Yamato $250, pretty, I guess, reasonable relative to the other ones that we've seen. But if someone does the same thing here, starts manipulating this price, I mean, it's just not that much money to buy out all of these and then relist for like $700, right? That's one thing that scares me about this set, about buying these cards. It could just be so easily manipulated because there's not that many copies available, so it's just very illiquid. And then Vegapunk, same thing. $300 here. Pretty consistent price. See, somebody just this day bought out a bunch of copies. Maybe they were hoping for other people to follow suit, and then prices just haven't just yet. We'll see. Maybe there could be another buyout wave, and this goes to $700 as well. But yeah, same thing here. 2 copies left. A lot of the 130s got bought out. So definitely some collectors in some of these, right? But like this feels like a collector set. People buying this manga art out. Some of these leaders feels a little bit manipulated. And then we go into OP09, Emperors of the New World, or in the New World, I should say. And there are some cards in here that have just stayed pretty consistent. Like the manga arts have all kind of stayed relatively consistent. Very good pricing for these. Not too crazy just yet, but I just want to highlight that the Nami card still $300. We're seeing that recovery. There are a lot of Nami collectors out there, and I think this is one of the best Nami cards for very obvious reasons, if you get what I mean. And then this card, I've talked about this multiple times. Monkey D. Luffy wanted poster $240 for this card. Yeah, I mean, not that many copies available here either. I just feel like this is so freaking collectible as a card. There's not that many wanted poster cards out there. I know OP03 had them, but they were kind of goofy looking, not this kind of burnt edge type of vibe. So I think this is such a cool art. If people are buying this for their collection, I definitely understand why. Boa Hancock, just a nice looking card as well. Rebounded very well from a 185. And then I'm not going to go into this too much in detail. At least this is PRB01. PRB01. So some of these card prices, like the gold dons, have come down in price, especially since they announced that the Japanese versions of these dons are playable in the US. But I don't think that that makes them all that much less collectible. But it is, however, maybe switching gears a little bit, interesting to see that the manga arts in here have found a solid floor. The Zoro cards $700. The Chopper cards $600. I mean, a lot of these cards were like $300-$400, like unreleased. So to see these prices inflate, it got me thinking, right? I mean, how many of the God packs of which these cards come from and it was the only way you can get like this type of manga art. How many of those did they actually print in PRB, right? PRB01 was a very lightly printed set. It was supposed to be rare. It's supposed to be collector oriented. So how many of them did they actually print, right? I don't know. I don't think they printed that much or that many boxes, and as a result, I don't think these cards, there's that many versions or that many copies of them out there. So from an actual rarity standpoint, like this ace card that's $600 right now for the PRB version, there's probably less of this for the PRB version than the actual OP02 version, right? So with that in mind, makes me interested, right? Makes me interested how collectible these are going to be in the future. I think they will be pretty collectible, right? Like maybe like a shadowless, if you use Pokemon analogy, it could be like a shadowless Charizard type of thing instead of the base set. So something to keep in mind. And then, guys, last thing I want to talk about, not about One Piece, but there's some analogies here. But there is a lot of excitement about collectible cards. Obviously, it hasn't really hit One Piece just yet, but the fact that Pokemon cards made it to the front page of the Wall Street Journal, where I was sitting at work and people were telling me about it in my stock investing job. They're like, by the way, Pokemon cards are making moves, or they're getting really popular. And I don't think they knew that I was a big collector myself. I don't really talk to people about this at work. My very serious, wear a suit and tie type of job. But it is very interesting to see how this is becoming very mainstream. Collecting cards as a alternate form of assets is becoming very mainstream. And frankly, I don't see why it wouldn't be, right? Generations past, some people collected stamps. Some people collected, I don't know, like neon signs. Some people collected Coca-Cola vending machines or Coca-Cola, memorabilia or whatever. Some people collected baseball cards. Why shouldn't Pokemon or One Piece be something like that for our generation, right? When we're 60, 50 years old, we just want to live our, teens when we were 10 years old or whatever, that nostalgia. I don't know why that wouldn't be the case. And as a result, I do think that this asset class, if you want to even call it, is gaining legitimacy. I think over time, there's going to be divots in the middle, but over time there's going to be a steady Eddie upward trajectory for the number of people getting into the hobby, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's Magic the Gathering, whether it's maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. But I do think One Piece has a place amongst the greats. Anyways, that's all I want to talk to you guys about. I hope you guys have a good day, good week, and let me know what else you guys want me to go over. Always open to hearing ideas from you guys. Put that in the comments section below, and I will talk to you guys next time.